I am with Giant Voices. We are a strategic marketing firm in Duluth. My business partner and I also run two other organizations, Gizmo's Promotional Products and Giant Academy, an online educational offer really focused around helping people become more masterful in some of the functions of marketing. And today I am actually speaking with you from that platform of Giant Academy. My personal background, Amy mentioned, I have been working in sales and marketing for Fortune 500 companies for my entire career in some form or fashion. I started in the Twin Cities working for a very large organization out of the East, New England Financial, and then worked for Target Corporation for many years and have moved beyond and actually have now made my way into a smaller, more entrepreneurial environment with Giant Voices, but we still do a lot of work for companies of that size that are operating all over the globe. So I'm really happy to be here today and share that experience with you. I will tell you that I am a business owner. This is what I do. I craft every day sales and marketing and communication strategies for our clients. So I am really coming to you with that experience, and the other sessions have been a little smaller and have allowed for some conversation. I don't want the size of today's room to prevent that from happening, so please do, if you have a question, I am all for interacting with you today. So before we get going, I just want to talk about a couple of housekeeping items. I am a very positive person. You can probably guess that. I'm also a morning person, so I apologize for those of you that aren't, because I know there's a big difference there. I am a super morning person. So it's positive space in this room. And what I mean by that is, as I already mentioned, you're coming from different backgrounds. Some of you, and actually I'd love to see a raise of hands, how many of you are coming from the nonprofit sector? Okay, great. How many of you are actually coming from a corporate environment or you're a business owner? Okay. Academic environment? I know we have one in the room. Okay, how about the rest of you that didn't raise your hands? Government? Okay, great. Thanks. So we have a variety of experience across industries in this room, and I am sure that we have a variety of marketing expertise in the room as well. I know there's a former public relations guy or public relations training in the back too. So I just keeping it positive and understanding that you're going to probably hear some repetition, and repetition is a good thing. I close my knowledge gaps all the time. I listen to marketing seminars and go hear from marketing thought leaders all the time. And that's what my education was in way back. So repetition is a good thing. My objective, though, is that I produce some new ways of thinking about marketing for you today, about digital marketing, about how it can help your business, about what we've been doing for our clients. And so while you may hear some repetition, my objective is that you hear something that causes you to do something different. Exercise your way of thinking a little bit. Let's stretch it. You maybe have always been doing something one way, whether it's been planning or looking at your target market. So I really want you to think about how you can exercise the way you've been thinking and see if that, again, produces something new for you today. With that, our objectives, we are going to go through an overview of all of the essential marketing plan components. We're going to focus on digital. I will tell you that in today's environment, it is 2/3 of all marketing plans. So I'm going to be sure that I touch on some of the fundamentals that are important that you consider if you haven't already, or if you're just here today coming with the mindset of maybe one of those components. As I mentioned, I want to help you think through some new ways of marketing and how you might be able to put that to work immediately in your business. And I'm going to provide you with some tools that you can also use immediately to then carry forward in your digital marketing efforts. I also want to be sure that you understand that we are setting the foundation for Digital Marketing 2, which is the session that I will be leading next week. So really, we're going to dive in to a lot of that detail. Next week, we are setting that foundation, and we're going to have a real kickstart for it next week. Does that sound good? Everybody on track? Awesome. Also, I am not a trained teacher, so don't worry, I won't make you do any homework or anything. I won't walk around and check your work. Okay. I'm also learning some new equipment. All right, so developing comprehensive marketing plans digitally. And let's talk about, so when I was a young professional, as so often us young professionals do, when I would meet with clients, I was so excited about what I was doing and what I was selling or what I was preparing from a marketing standpoint. I would just sit down and talk. Talk. All about what I knew, all about how what I knew could help them. And as I've matured in my career and have learned to do much more listening, I started to, rather than tell people about marketing and sales, I would ask them what their perceptions were about marketing or what they thought marketing was to them before I would start telling them what I knew. And oftentimes, clients would say to me, well, marketing, I don't need a marketing plan. I just need a new website. Or I don't need a marketing plan. I just need help getting into social media. And so it occurred to me that there are some misperceptions out there about marketing. And so before we dive in, I want to make sure that I clear those out of the way, because I can't ask all of you the question. I'm going to share with you 3 common misperceptions that I just want to address right away about marketing. The first one is just that marketing is one element. So, Lisa, I need to update my website. The images on there are old. People have 70s hairdos that I'm not really digging. We need to update our brochure because it doesn't have a right phone number on it. Those are all really good reasons why you might need to refresh your marketing. But how does it work together? And what is the purpose of the element that you need updated? What is the purpose of your brochure? Are you trying to drive them to do something? Are you trying to drive somebody to make a phone call? Are you trying to drive somebody to your website? Which brings up the fact, if you're trying to drive somebody to your website, you need to make sure that your website is cohesive with your brochure. So understanding that marketing is not just one element is really important. And we're going to take that apart a little bit today. It's a much, much bigger conversation. The second misperception, is that it's a creative guess. I have a great new idea, and I want to launch it into the marketplace. I know that my product is going to be well received in the oil fields, in the Bakken oil fields. Great. I think it will be too. I don't know if we want to just jump in with a $100,000 advertising campaign, though. Let's take a step back and understand that before we make a commitment, a sizable commitment in advertising or marketing, and I'll tell you what, websites, even though you can design your own on a relatively small budget these days, there's a lot that goes with that, from time and money and opportunity. So you really need to think about, before you just launch into a big idea, that there's more that goes to it, because a big idea without a strategic purpose is a giant risk. And that risk is usually financial. Anybody have any experience with that? No? Wow. I need to come to this part of town more often. But the third misperception is that marketing is an expense instead of an investment. And what I mean by that is likely there was a decision made, like the misperception I just mentioned, where you invested a an enormous amount of money, and you didn't see any marketing results come of it. So the reality is then marketing does become an expense. And many leaders often think that marketing, and truly marketing falls on the expense side of a balance sheet, right? That's where it lands. And if you can't actually turn your marketing resources and outputs into an investment when there's a downturn in the economy or when sales are bad, what's the first thing to go? Line item on marketing, right? So understanding that a big idea with a strategic purpose can be a huge investment. So those are the types of misperceptions that I want to make sure we clear out of the way and we move forward with today. So what's the purpose of a marketing plan? The purpose of a marketing plan, we believe, is to attract people to an organization and entice them to act. Attract and act. Those are the two words that I really want you to focus on today. Attracting and acting. Who do we want to attract? And what do we want them to do? Well, we want to attract brand advocates, for one. And what's a brand advocate? Is that just a fancy word or a kitschy word? A brand advocate is somebody, it's more than a sale. These people they favor your business over your competition. They spread the good word and good gossip about you in the marketplace through social media without you even asking. You probably know who some of these people are. If you have a Facebook page right now for your business or for your organization, they just automatically share every time you post something. My mother-in-law is one of them. She's a brand advocate for us every time. But those are people that you really want to cultivate. They are so important to your business and organization. They amplify every dollar that you put into marketing. It is just positive snowball effect. So we want to attract brand advocates. We want to attract sales leads, of course, and I use the word sales very generally, realizing that a lot of you, for sales means a different thing. It means a new donor if you're a nonprofit, or it may mean new patients, or it may mean various things to various people. So please understand that I do know that. I'll use the term sales in a very general respect today. But we want to attract sales leads with a purpose. We want to attract return on our investment. And when you're attracting brand advocates and you're attracting sales, you're going to attract new employees. So you want to attract a great culture in your workplace. You want to attract people that help you continue with that snowball effect and help your organization thrive. And you want to attract the press. And this is often such an underestimated purpose in a marketing plan that I really want you to focus on today too. Digitally, the way that the press moves now, they're required to have a presence in print. They're required to have a presence online. These guys can probably tell you. Radio, I mean, you have to produce content across multiple channels today, no matter what type of an environment you're in from a media communication standpoint. So do not underestimate your public relations contacts and your media relations efforts. Right, so what are some of the components of a comprehensive marketing plan? We're going to break through those today. We're going to talk about ambition, we are going to talk about research, and we are going to talk about tactics. So starting with ambition, and what do I mean when I say ambition? Well, the definition of ambition is desire for success, a strong feeling of wanting to be successful in life and to achieve great things. Now, in life or in your business, to achieve great things. What is your ambition as an organization? Are you talking about increasing your market share? Are you talking about increasing brand advocates? Are you talking about boiling it right down to social media and increasing the number of followers that you have on your Facebook account? Are you talking about a capital campaign? You each have different versions of what that ambition looks like in your business. And so first and foremost, it's very important that we define it. We're an ambition-based marketing firm, and what that means for us is we work with our clients to help them achieve great things. We're not just talking about plugging in for one element of your business. We work with our clients on a very deep, ongoing basis to help them achieve financial, operational, sales, and culture ambition. And so that's what we do. But you all have an ambition, and so I challenge you, if you haven't defined that, think about that today, because that will be part of some of the exercises that we're going to go through. So if you have an event that you're planning, maybe it's a ribbon cutting, maybe it's a grand opening, if you have a capital campaign that you're planning, if you have a new product or service that you're launching, start thinking about that a little bit today, because we are going to take that one particular campaign apart a little bit. So, and I probably just hit on this. So we're going to define today for each of your ambitions. We're going to define the objectives. We're going to define your sales, financial goals, and other measurements. And we're going to define your conditions of satisfaction. So some people like to think of ambition as goals. So that's just fine. It's a different way of thinking, right? So I told you I would challenge you a little bit, get you thinking about different ways to use different words. So ambition or goals, but we're going to really define what those mean to you. And what do I mean by conditions of satisfaction? Conditions of satisfaction, obviously meeting your numbers is a big part of reaching your goals. We all set measurable goals so you can reach them. But what are some of those other items that you can also check off that help accelerate? Maybe it's your career, maybe it's your personal life, maybe it's running a marathon for the first time, maybe it's tying that back to your business from a career development standpoint, where I had to close this knowledge gap for a specific campaign that I was working on, and now I'm actually positioned for a promotion because I know more now because I had to run this campaign than I did before. So that's what I mean, thinking about different ways or different conditions of satisfaction there. So here are some examples, and this is just to spark some thinking. So please, if you have some other examples and you would like to share, please do so. One example is defining your sales leads, right? Define per division and per product line. And one measurement might be to generate 30 new prospects per month. One example might be building brand awareness by increasing your website traffic by 50%. One example might be attracting the press, getting 4 write-ups in a regional publication or an online publication. Might be Facebook users. You want to generate 100 new Facebook users or new Facebook friends by the end of the month. Or you want to increase your LinkedIn connections by 100 people by the end of the year. Those are some examples. And so now that you've defined your ambition, it's time to get into the research, and this, for me, is the fun part. So I am an analytical junkie. I love analytics. I love data. I love making decisions based on good data. And in order to have a successful marketing plan, in order to launch into a new market or embark on a new website project, you really do need good research in order to do that. And we're going to pull it apart a little bit today. We are going to start with defining your target market. Now, I looked through quickly. Everybody answered one of these questions on the little pre-workshop handout, and a lot of you said you could define your target market pretty well. That's really great. I'm going to be curious for those that answered that question in the manner that you did. After walking through our exercise today, if you'll feel the same way, that maybe you're looking at your target market a little bit differently, and maybe you're not. So I will be excited to see that. One thing, everyone, is not your target market. I don't care what business you're in. Even if you're in the business of healthcare, where anybody that walks in your hospital can be a patient, that doesn't mean that they're your target market. Does anybody disagree with that? Okay, good. So, and think about this. And I'll tell you what, I have a lot of businesses that struggle with this. Doesn't matter their size. Lisa, I don't care how I generate $1. I don't care if it's somebody walking in the street, off the street, or if it's somebody that comes in because I ran a successful Facebook campaign. I said, okay, it's great to generate revenue. I'm not gonna argue with you on that. But isn't there some truth to the fact that it's easier to generate $1 from somebody who knows and loves you than it is from a complete stranger? Think about what we do think about the Girl Scouts. I think the Girl Scouts are a perfect example of this. When they're selling cookies, who do they come to first? Their friends and family, right? They're going to their friends and family because their friends and family are going to buy from them. Well, the friends and family are their brand advocates, really. And marketing to your target market should really be no different. Well, let's take some lessons from the Girl Scouts in terms of focusing on our tight network of friends and family. We'll call them friends and family, brand advocates. And they want to buy your product. They know your product. They know your brand. They prefer your brand. And so thinking about how to define your target market with some of that background, I want you to be thinking about that. Here's a quote from Larry Light. He's the former McDonald's CEO. He said, in today's marketing world, marketing mass messages to masses of people via mass media is a mass mistake. Now, if McDonald's isn't marketing to everyone, I can guarantee that all of us in this room can't afford to market to everyone, because you can really eat something at McDonald's when you're 6 months of age. You can eat an ice cream cone or French fries, although I wouldn't necessarily recommend French fries. My son had an incident, didn't quite go down as well. But anyway, they certainly have something to offer just about everybody on the planet. But they very specifically target their markets. They very specifically run commercials. They very specifically launch new menu items. And actually, last night in the hotel, I was reading McDonald's and I'll maybe talk about this a little bit more later, but McDonald's is really on a campaign, right? Their sales are down. Their sales are down. They're running into some big changes in the way that they market to different generations. So millennials and Generation Y and the boomlets, so younger, they don't necessarily want to eat McDonald's food because they don't know what's in it. So think about that for a second and how your target market will change in time. And so you do need to constantly be assessing what they look like.